Okay, so picture this. You walk into a museum, right? Like the Louvre or the Met,
Mm-hmm.
and you find one of those big rooms full of, 19th century oil paintings. And there she is, the Muse.
Right. Always on a velvet chaise lounge.
Always. Maybe she's holding a grape, staring off into space.
Yeah.
She's beautiful, for sure. But she's also just completely passive.
She's basically furniture. I mean, beautiful furniture with a heartbeat, but still furniture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She is the object, the artist, the guy with the paintbrush or, the camera. He's the subject. He has the vision. She just has the body. The machine holds all the power.
It's like the oldest power dynamic in art history, right? The viewer versus the viewed. And the
Yeah.
one being viewed traditionally has zero agency. They're just there to be consumed.
Well, today, we are taking a sledgehammer to that chaise lounge. We're diving into a piece of work that takes that whole passive narrative, shatters it, and rebuilds it into something that feels more like a weapon than a painting.
I love that.
We're doing a deep dive into the album Muse and the Machine by the artist Ti-Fi. And let me tell you, this is not some soft, acoustic, let me tell you about my feelings record.
Oh, not even close. I've seen it described as high-voltage glam rock and industrial anthem. It trades like the acoustic guitar for grinding gears and pure electricity.
It's so gritty, it's sweaty.
Yeah.
But the reason we picked this for a deep dive isn't just because the bass lines are incredible, which they are.
They really are.
It's because of the structure. This album is a masterclass in reappropriation. It takes this very specific, very technical vocabulary and just weaponizes it.
And that's really the mission for this deep dive, isn't it? We're not just doing a track-by-track review. We're going to explore how Ti-Fi uses the technical manual of photography, concepts like ISO, aperture, shutter speed.
All that jargon, yeah.
And transforms them from boring instruction manual stuff into metaphors for psychological dominance.
The camera as combat. I love it. And we actually have some really cool background context here. We got our hands on some notes from a writer's room session Ti-Fi did.
Oh, right. And the origin story of this album is deeply personal.
It is. It apparently comes from a place of recovery. Ti-Fi talked about how, for a long time, the camera lens was a sanctuary, a place for body positivity, for exploring identity.
But then after a personal crisis, that safety was gone. The lens started to feel predatory, a source of anxiety.
So this album isn't just music, it's armor. Ti-Fi literally wrote it to psych themselves up for an upcoming photo shoot. But this time, not as the passive muse.
Right. The whole goal was to transform from the passenger into the pilot of the machine.
From passenger to pilot. I love that. Let's keep that in mind. So the album is laid out like a play in 4 acts. Let's fire up the engine. Act Y is called the ignition.
Okay, so this is the prep phase. We're walking into that cold industrial studio.
And the opening track sets the tone immediately. It's called the Z card. Now, I had to look this up because I'm definitely not a model. What exactly is a Z card?
So think of it like a business card, but for your body. The industry calls it a composite card, too. On the front, you have a headshot.
Okay.
On the back, you have your stats. Height, bust, waist, hips, shoe size, eye color. It's just data.
Wow, that sounds incredibly reductive. It's like top trumps for human beings.
It is. It reduces a person to a set of measurements.
Yeah.
And usually that feels, dehumanizing. But what Ti-Fi does here is fascinating. The lyrics just flip that whole idea on its head.
Yeah, the line that totally jumped out at me was 5'8" isn't a limitation. It's a chassis number for a high-performance vehicle.
I love that reframe. It's like, if you're a Formula One car, you don't apologize for your wheelbase. Those are just the specs of the engine. Ti-Fi is saying, yeah, I'm a product, but I am a high-end luxury product.
There's that lyric, 43 up top, 40 on the hip. And usually if you don't fit the sample size, the industry makes you feel like garbage. But here, the song calls those numbers a menu on the table that the viewer probably can't afford.
It's this aggressive commodification, but it's voluntary. It's saying you can look at the specs, but don't touch the merchandise unless you have the credit limit. It sets this heavy industrial stomping tone right away.
And that energy just bleeds right into the next track, TFP, another acronym. I feel like I'm learning a whole new language today. TFP stands for time for print, right?
Or trade for print, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of the underground art world, the modeling hustle.
So no cash actually changes hands.
Exactly. It's a barter system. A photographer needs to test a new lighting setup. A model needs photos for their portfolio.
So they just trade?
They trade their time for the final images.
Okay, because in the corporate world, you're always told, don't work for free, don't work for exposure.
Mm-hmm.
But this song doesn't frame it as exploitation at all.
No, it frames it as sweat equity. The whole vibe of the track is frantic, it's hungry. The lyrics go, no suits, no ties, just division in your head. It rejects the paycheck for creating something raw.
I love that line, sweat equity currency, our skin. It suggests that because money isn't involved, the stakes are actually higher. You're paying with your physical effort.
It's an ode to the hustle. It establishes that the pilot isn't here for money, they're here for the vision. Which brings us to the moment of transformation in Act 1, Track 3, Call Time.
The ritual. 6 a.m., the mirror lights flick on. We've all seen that montage in movies, the heroes suiting up. But here, the makeup isn't described as makeup.
No, the source material is very specific about this. It's not vanity, it's war paint.
Okay, talk to me about that difference. Why does that matter so much?
Well, vanity implies you're doing it for other people, right? You hope they think you look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
War paint is for you. It's active. You're preparing for a conflict. You're putting on a mask to protect the self that's underneath.
There's this one lyric, I leave myself behind the skin. I am the machine. Sounds almost like dissociation.
It is, but it's strategic dissociation. It's like stepping into an avatar. If you become the icon or the machine, then the criticism can't hurt you. The camera can't steal your soul if you've already locked it away.
You're bulletproof. And once that armor is on, we move to Act 2. The title for this section is The Voltage.
And this is where the prep ends and the shoot begins. The energy just spikes. This section is all about the power shift.
It kicks off with a track called White Hot. The concept here is high-key lighting. For those of us who just use, Instagram filters, what is high-key lighting?
Okay, so imagine a commercial for laundry detergent, or maybe like a depiction of heaven in a movie.
Yeah.
The background is pure, blown-out white.
Right.
The light is just blasting from every direction. There are almost no shadows.
And usually shadows are our friends, right?
Yeah.
You want to hide the bits we don't like in the dark.
Exactly. High key is unforgiving. It reveals everything. But Ti-Fi treats this exposure as a weapon. The metaphor here is fearless visibility.
Kill the moonlight. I'm pure perfection breaking the laws.
Mm-hmm.
It's about being so bright, you just burn out all the negativity around you.
It's aggressive positivity. It's saying, turn the lights all the way up. I have nothing to hide. You're overexposed, but it feels good.
Okay, speaking of feeling exposed, we have to talk about the next track, ISO. This might be the biggest aha moment on the whole album for me.
This is a brilliant intellectual leap. So let's explain ISO. In photography, ISO controls how sensitive the camera sensor is to light. In a dark room, you crank up the ISO so the camera can see.
But there's a trade-off.
A huge trade-off. As you increase the ISO, you introduce digital noise or grain. The picture gets fuzzy, speckled.
And usually photographers hate grain. They want a super clean image.
Right. But Ti-Fi takes that grain, that static, that visual buzz, and compares it to the physical sensation of anxiety. You know that prickly feeling on the back of your neck when you feel like everyone is watching you?
Oh, 100%. The fight or flight buzz.
Ti-Fi reframes that. That isn't fear. That's just your internal ISO being cranked up to 6400. Your high sensitivity. You're capturing more data than everyone else.
That is such a cool way to look at nerves. I'm not anxious. I'm just highly sensitive right now.
The lyric is, going radioactive in the dark. Chaos is beautiful. It's about embracing the fuzziness. Instead of trying to calm down, the song says, ride the static. Use that nervous energy as fuel. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
So we've got the lighting in White Hot, we have the internal energy and ISO, and now we need to direct it. Which brings us to leading lines.
This track is pure control. So in composition, leading lines are things in the photo like a road, a fence, a building edge that guide your eye towards the subject.
But in the song, the model is the one creating the lines.
The model becomes the puppeteer. The lyric is, I am the architect of your gaze.
That is a heavy power move.
It completely reverses the objectification. If I pose my arm a certain way or tilt my head, I am forcing you to look exactly where I want you to look. You think you're checking me out, but actually, I'm giving you a guided tour. I'm driving the bus.
Trapping you in a love maze. It's manipulative in the best possible way. Okay, so we've survived the high-voltage studio session. Now the album shifts gears. Act 3 is the atmosphere.
Yeah, and this is a real shift in the sonic landscape. We move away from the hard industrial banging and into the internal world of the subject. It really blurs the line between reality and fantasy.
And it starts with a concept we all know from portrait mode on our phones, aperture.
So technically, aperture is the opening in the lens. A wide aperture like f1.8 creates a very shallow depth of field. The subject is sharp, but the background is totally blurry.
And the metaphor here is tunnel vision.
It's a survival mechanism. The lyrics say, blur out the background, blur out the hate, I only see my own face.
That feels like a defense against the modern world. There's so much noise, social media comments, the news, other people's opinions. This song argues you have to optically delete the rest of the world to survive.
It's selective focus.
Yeah.
You literally cannot process everything. So you make the choice to render the background out of focus.
And that beautiful blur has a name, which is the title of the next track, bokeh.
Yes. Bokeh. It's a Japanese term. It refers to the aesthetic quality of that blur. You know when you see a photo of a city at night and the streetlights turn into those soft, glowing orbs?
Oh yeah, I love that look. It makes even a gritty street look magical.
And that's the whole point. The song treats it as a beautiful lie.
City is a smear of neon paint, turning every wrong into a perfect ride.
It's acknowledging that the image is a fantasy. It's not reality. But the song argues that we need that fantasy. We need to be able to look at the messy, ugly world and see it as soft, glowing orbs sometimes just to get through the night.
The seduction of the image. But you can't live in that dream forever. The album takes a literal step outside with Gold Rush.
This is the golden hour track.
We leave the studio. No more artificial strobes, just the sun right before it sets.
The vibe changes completely. It's organic, triumphant. After all the anxiety of ISO and the aggression of white hot, this is like a breath of fresh air.
Nature's filter better than a fake. I glow like a beacon. It feels like the machine is finally bowing to nature.
It connects the body back to the earth. You aren't just a product anymore. You're a living thing bathing in sunlight. But as any photographer knows, the golden hour is very, very short.
The sun goes down, and that leads us to the finale, Act 4, the legacy.
This is the deep end. This is where we confront mortality and truth.
It starts with a race against time in freeze frame. This is based on shutter speed.
The camera is, effectively a time machine. It is the only device we have that can literally stop time.
The lyrics here feel frantic. 11,000 of a second on the clock. It feels desperate, like, quick, capture this before I change.
There's that line. This version of me will never grow old. It's triumphant, but it's also a little tragic, isn't it? The person in the photo is immortal, but the person looking at the photo is aging every second.
It's like an adrenaline-fueled attempt to catch lightning in a bottle. But then the album just strips everything away. No more time machines, no more lights. Track 11 is negative space.
Minimalism. This is my personal favorite concept on the whole record.
Okay, for the non-artists out there, what exactly is negative space?
It's just the empty space around the subject. So if you take a photo of a chair, the chair is the positive space. The empty wall behind it, the floor, the air, that's all negative space.
And the song claims, take away the chair, I'm sitting on the invisible throne.
The metaphor is, minimalism is confidence.
Unpack that for me.
Well, think about it. Insecure people clutter the frame. They want props, flashy clothes, busy backgrounds because they don't trust that they're interesting enough on their own.
So using negative space means you're comfortable with the emptiness.
Exactly. You're saying, I don't need to do anything. I just need to be here, and my presence is heavy enough to fill this void. It's like the power of silence in a conversation. You don't need to fill the dead air.
That is powerful, just occupying space without touching it. Which brings us to the final track, the climax of this whole narrative. Raw.
The unvarnished truth.
We live in a JPEG world, a world of filters and compression. But this song is about the raw file.
Right. So a JPEG is a compressed image. The camera's computer takes the data, decides what looks good, smooths out the skin, boosts the saturation, and then deletes the rest of the data. It gives you a small, pretty file.
It's an edit. It's a lie.
But a raw file is everything the sensor saw. It's huge, it's uncompressed, it's flat, and it shows every single pore, every shadow, every texture.
And the song warns, don't you dare touch that slider.
It is a complete rejection of that plastic doll aesthetic. The lyrics celebrate the heavy data of reality. I'm the writing on the bathroom wall.
Wow. It's such a full circle moment. We start with the Z card, just numbers, just stats. We go through the armor, the lighting, the fantasy, and we end up here, rejecting the edit.
It's high-definition self-acceptance. It's saying, I am not a compressed, easy-to-share file. I am massive, I am messy, and I am real.
That is a hell of a journey, to go from being a list of stats to being this undeniable human force.
It really is. And I think looking at this whole thing, the so what here is pretty profound because this isn't just an album for models or photographers.
No, absolutely not. We all have cameras in our pockets. We're all building a brand, whether we like it or not.
And we are all being captured by data and algorithms constantly. In a way, we're all on a Z card somewhere in a server farm.
So the question this album asks you is, how do you take the controls?
It gives you a whole new vocabulary to reframe your own psychology. Next time you feel anxious, don't spiral. Just tell yourself, my ISO is high right now, I'm just capturing more detail.
Or when you feel overwhelmed by the news or just the noise of life, open the aperture, blur the background. It's not ignorance, it's focus.
And most importantly, get comfortable with negative space. You don't need to fill every silence. You don't need to perform constantly. Your presence is enough.
It's about realizing you are the pilot. The world is a machine. It's cold, it's industrial, and it wants to process you into a JPEG. But you are the one who's driving.
You determine the exposure, you determine where the lens points.
So here's a thought to leave you with today. We spend so much time looking at screens, at images of other people. But if you viewed your own life through this lens, if you treated your anxiety as energy and your silence as power, how would you change your settings?
Would you hide in the shadows? Or would you go white hot and just burn the whole thing down?
Something to chew on. This material is electric, and frankly, I feel like I'm walking away with a little more armor than I came in with.
Absolutely. It's good to be the pilot.
That's it for this deep dive into Muse and the Machine. Stay electric, everyone. See you next time.